Welcome back, Pizza King podcast family. I'm your host Tyrell, and you just got me this week. For the last 3 weeks, we've had some pretty sweet guests. If you haven't checked out those episodes, we had Bob Protexter from Pizza Shack in Oklahoma, and we had David with Sonic out here in Florida, and we had Nick from Bricks Woodfire Pizza over in North Carolina, and all three of those episodes were incredible, conversations. And I'm hesitant to say interviews because I'm not really an interviewer. I'm just just on here talking and just trying to have conversations with people who do what we do, and that has been cool for the last 3 weeks. But today you got me. We'll have some more guests coming up soon. We've been talking to quite a few folks, so I think it's gonna be. I think you're really gonna enjoy some of the guests that we got coming up and that we're planning to talk to and have already talked to. So, but for today, you got me for a few minutes um, to catch up and talk about what's been going on, and really just hang out with my pizza family. Pizza of the week, we hadn't done that in a few weeks, so come back with pizza of the week. And I'm sure if you've seen, well, I can't say I'm sure, but if you follow me on social and you see some of the stuff, pizza of the week this week is what I'm calling the bus crust. And I'll tell you the story if you didn't see it. I had a customer last week, I think it was like Monday or Tuesday, came into the store. Or not, he didn't come into the store. He called the store. I answered the phone. He's like, can you guys do a stuffed crust pizza? And I'm like, well, we don't. Well, he asked, do you sell stuffed crust pizza? And no, we don't sell stuffed crust pizza. But I'm like, if you want me to give it a shot, I'm happy to try it. I know how to stuff in my mind. I know how to stuff crust. I know how to do a stuffed crust pizza. So he's like, hold on, let me see if she want. he had to ask the wife. I thought that was funny too, because he was like, hold on, real quick, and he comes back. He was like, yeah, let's try it. I wasn't gonna charge him, anything. He just pay for his normal pizza. I was just gonna do the stuffed crust and give it a shot. Worst case scenario, you got a cheese pizza. So he, so I tried to do it. I took the mozzarella, we rolled it up, and tucked it in, stuffed the crust. You seen the video, but the crust, but the seal was trash. The seal was terrible. I could have used water. Some people said garlic butter. I don't that didn't really seal very well for us, but I could have used water. Kind of left the dough. I should have not. Kind of like I do how I do my calzones and strombolis. Just flour one side of the dough and leave the other side wet or moist. Could have done that, and but didn't. Just kind of tucked it in, sauced it, cheesed it, busted open, and you could see it in the oven as it was cooking that the cheese was starting to ooze out through that crust. But it came out pretty nice. And so I posted a video of me, going through that process and, just kind of posting the wins and the losses, right? The fail. It was I thought it I was not, how do I say this? Because the pizza did look good, but I was not happy with the with my execution of that pizza, right? I thought that, excuse me, I thought that I had it the way that I needed it to be, and I didn't. But the pizza came out great, and I posted video for the first time since I've been posting content, which has been a few years now. I've never had a video that has performed on every single platform, and that's what this one did. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I mean, every platform, the video outperformed just about all my other videos, except maybe some videos on Facebook. But we're talking at this point, 30, 40,000 on YouTube. Best video I've ever posted. 30 some 25, 20, I think 25, 26,000 on TikTok. Best video I've ever posted. 10K on Instagram. One of the best videos I've ever posted for sure. Probably the best video that was just best pizza video. I've posted some kid stuff, and it always does pretty well. But and then 500,000 on Facebook, which is really good. It's the best I've had in a couple of years over there. Best from a views and reach standpoint, not the best video. I think I've made better content. But yeah, it was cool. So a mini viral moment for that, and there was a lot of good feedback. Like, man, that looked great. They started to call it the bus crust on one of the comments. That ain't a stuffed crust, that's a bus crust. So I'm like, shit, we roll with it. We'll roll with the bus crust because it actually turned out pretty good, and you see it, and I imagine if you throw some garlic butter, some Parmesan on that thing, and it turns into something that's really a nice treat. I didn't try it. I did make another one for the staff because we wanted to do it again. Um, Alan wanted to try it, so we made a couple more actually on Saturday. Alan wanted to try to make one. I wanted to do it. It's never really worked out that well, that well with our stuff. We still get blocks of mozzarella. We're still shredding our cheese. It is I don't know, it's just not it just doesn't hold up very well in that situation. But it does make for a really cool, cheesy looking end product. But to get that traditional stuffed crust like people like you see from from the chain guys, um, you probably got to use like a string cheese or some shit like that. I don't want to do that. So we'll just keep making it the way we make it. Call it into bus crust, and if somebody wants it, I'm happy to do it for them. We'll try it. But that was pizza of the week, the bus crust. A lot of fun, to have and see the viral moment, and Q&A. I'm actually gonna pull Q&A this week straight from one of the comments in social media because all right, in my opinion, there's always the good side and the not so good side of having a moment like that, right? Or what we would call a viral moment, because there's always a lot of it takes positivity to push something like that, right? People have to like it for it to continue to be shared and viewed and things like that. But then there's always that small percentage of people who got some negative shit to say. And I I'm responding in my mind on all of them. But I try to stay reserved in that because there is no value in going back and forth with people who are just there for the 30 seconds. So like, what's the point of that? But the Q&A, which I think, the reason I wanted to bring it up because I think it's something that probably gets brought up a lot, and I've seen it on other things and other videos and all these things. So figured I might as well address it here. It says why, and I just wrote it. I just paraphrased because there was a lot of comments about it. Comments, the question is why don't pizza guys wear gloves? But on the comments and on the post, it was always, where your gloves at? Your first mistake was you ain't put no gloves on. Oh, that's nasty as hell. You ain't got no gloves on. And that shit drives me crazy because for one, it's always for one, whoever's making a comment ain't somebody that's buying my shit anyways. Like, you probably somewhere other side of the world doing whatever you do, don't understand what's going on, but you just want to throw something out there that implies that me in my 23 years of being in this business and being in a leadership role in this business don't take my responsibility seriously as a food safety manager, as a restaurant owner, as a business owner, as a leader, as a father, as a person who has been entrusted by the community to provide a product and to provide a service that I don't take the responsibility seriously when it comes to food safety, as if I would be so reckless. But what you don't understand is that you don't know how this works. You think and and I don't even want to go off on it because I already been through that with me, just talking offline. But I'm sure that other pizza guys and other pizza folks, and y'all post videos, and people probably ask y'all dumbass questions and stuff like that. I think it's worth bringing up. Who's wearing gloves, who's not wearing gloves. I'm a pizza guy. I don't wear gloves. I've tried. I ain't wearing no gloves, and I'll tell you why. Well, the first reason why is that it's not required. At least not where I make pizza. It maybe the law is different some in different states and different places, but where I make pizza, it's not required to wear gloves on food before it's cooked. Now, we do wear gloves if we handle raw product. We do wear gloves if we're like, I'll put on some gloves to get the anchovies or something wet. I don't like the wet toppings. But I think that what the larger issue that needs to be addressed is that people just assume that we don't take the responsibility seriously. Like, come on, man. That's reckless in itself to even say something like that. But I did take some time to respond to one of those comments, and I figured I would bring that here for Q&A, just as a way to just address it one time, because I'm not going to respond to every comment, but I will respond here. So this guy wrote, and I don't know, I'll pop the screenshot up on the screen. But this guy wrote and just said, "No gloves," with a question mark after watching the video, which if you watch the video, clearly you can see I didn't have no gloves on. So I just responded and said, "Is that a question?" And he responded and said, "Yes." So then I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll answer his question. And I said, so and so, addressed straight to him. You'll find that most pizza makers don't wear gloves unless we're handling raw meats. We do, however, follow strict hand washing and food handling guidelines. I've also found that wearing gloves gives people a false sense of safety and actually results in increased risk for cross contamination due to less frequent hand washing. Appreciate the question. Now, do you agree or disagree? I think that when you see folks and they're wearing gloves does not protect you. You can still have some gloves, grab some raw chicken, and then go touch something else with those same damn gloves on. Washing hands is what protects us. Washing hands is what prevents cross contamination. Gloves don't do shit. Gloves don't do shit but protect your hands from touching the product. That's all it does. It does not protect the consumer. So I think that people have this misconception in their minds, or they have this false sense of security when they see gloves. And I get it. In some places it is important, like a sandwich shop, or on our grill side, we're making salads, we're making sandwiches. That's food that gets prepared and direct to consumer. But if there's a cook step like a pizza oven, there's no need to wear a glove. Besides the fact that it's hard as hell to stretch a pizza with a glove on, especially with the style of pizza that I make with flour. This shit's slipping all over the place. But I had to go ahead and address it. So that's my answer. It's not required. It's actually probably more unsafe. And I don't want to. That's why I don't wear gloves. But if you want me to wear gloves when I make your pizza, when you're at the counter, or when you're on the phone, or when you place an order at my shop, put it in the notes and I'll oblige. That's my answer. I'm happy to do whatever for my customers. So if someone's at my counter and they say, "Hey, can you throw some gloves on for this one?" Absolutely. Sure can. Not a problem. But for people from God knows where, no, I'm not wearing gloves for you. You don't like the video? Don't like the video. That's okay. Um, and that's that's the end of that one. From now on, I see that I'm just going just like their comment, appreciate the engagement, and keep it moving. What I wanted to discuss today beyond that, so that was Q&A. Thank you. Sorry about whatever rant I just went on about. With that, I apologize. But that one that one burns me. Grinds my gears, like Peter says. But I want to talk about just the overall evolution of our shop. I kind of got in this moment, thinking about where we are versus where we were, as we kind of start with, whenever we do something new or do something different, it always takes me back to just the importance of embracing change, and then taking time to appreciate the things that were the change back then, like where we came from, right? Pre-change. We just sent out, and I'll tell you, because we just started to send out text campaigns. We've been doing email for a little while, but we hadn't done text yet. I know I'm a late adopter. Don't kill me for that. But we hadn't email had been working for us, so we hadn't embarked on into the land of text yet. Corporate had done some stuff for us, and we had already started to build a list of text subscribers, but we hadn't really pulled the trigger and started sending out any messages to text. So last weekend we did, for the last couple of weeks. So at this point we've been doing it for 2 weeks, but it just the topic in my mind came, and Paul Paul will love if he hears me say this, but one of the overarching themes when I was working in the West Shore corporate office and with Paul and the Franchise Edge team was, it's an evolution, not a revolution. And I'll get Paul to come on the show one day, but because that was one of his Paulisms, right? It's an evolution, not a revolution. But when you think about it, that's exactly what this business has been. And you talk about now 21, 22 years in the same brand. I've seen a lot of evolution, right? It never came without resistance. So what felt like a revolution really was the spawn or the beginning of our evolving, the evolution of our marketing, the evolution of our operations, the evolution of our customer experience. All of those things have changed over the last 2 decades. I think about how we used to market. We used to, like, literally used to do fax. We used to do fax, door hangers, like walking door to door, put menus on doors in mailboxes or cars or in parking lots. We would build a fax list. Like we would do business visits. Like in the morning, we make up, 3 or 4 dozen garlic knots, go out, hit the plazas, talk to somebody, get a business card, and then start faxing them like our menu once a week or once a month, like on a fax campaign. We used to do, and the same thing with the schools, like the schools, the churches. We would just try to get the fax number and start faxing, or get a list from the Chamber of Commerce, and was straight up on a fax campaign. And then we went to like bulk mail. like where you had the big crates and you had to get the bulk mail, go get a bulk mail certificate, and we'd be dropping menus by the tens of thousands. That was that's how that's how long I've been doing this. Text is that now. And I know that because people have been I didn't discover this, but someone else I was on the Smart Pizza Marketing, the SPM Pro call where Bruce was doing office hours, which I think is dope by the way. Keep doing that, Bruce. Bruce was doing office hours and he just kind of said, he was letting us know that text is what that used to be. That you go out, I mean, remember back in the day, you go out, you drop menus in this community, you hit these four streets, and then we come back to the shop because we know we're going to get orders from those four streets. Like that's how direct it was. That's how targeted it was back then, right? And text is that now. And I just learned that. And it was a good weekend with those. We went from bulk mail. We went to. I just wrote in my notes like all the things that we did. We went to share mail, like the junk mail pieces, and we still do that like a couple of times a year just to keep it out there. Every door direct mail was a big one for us for a long time. We went from bulk mail to every door direct mail where we could actually target routes and households with mail pieces and not have to send out 10,000 at a time. So every door direct mail was a big piece of what we do. And, really up until print went crazy during COVID, we were still doing a good bit of EDDM. And honestly, I would probably still look at it. I haven't done that in a little while. We haven't even revisited print. So might have to take a look into that. But from EDDM, we went into really going hard on our social media marketing and building our loyalty program up and building our email list. So from that it was like, well shit, an email was with our loyalty program, email didn't cost us anything extra, so I can send out as many as I want every month. So email kind of became the new wave for us and we've been killing it until we started to they made this text, feature available to us and now we can actually do it and control it. Pretty pretty solid stuff. Pretty solid stuff. Where's your shop at? Like how long have you been doing it? Where did you start and where are you at now? I think about how some other things evolved when I was talking about, just making notes on, our even our order taking process and how we operate. We used to take all of our orders used to be phone orders and walk-ins. That was the only way you're going to get order from us until I was there when we bought our first bought the domain and set up our first, online order partnership with a third party company back in the day, customer to you. Shout out to those guys. And that was our first experience with online and it was crazy. And it was so crazy with trying to map menu items and build these different modifiers and all of this. It was wild to where you are now where everything is just like so seamless and so integrated and so easy to set up. You could be going on a platform within a day or two in a lot of cases if you have your as long as you have the right POS. We went from we used to write our catering, like to do catering, we used to have a book. This we called it the catering book. And we would come in and check the book every morning to see if there were any caterings that day. But someone would call to get a catering order, and a manager, one of us had to go write the entire order in the book. Name, date, what they want. Like you had to put it all in the computer into the POS so that we knew what the price was. But then before you submit it, you just kind of cancel it. You couldn't even store orders back then. We would take it and write it all down so that we could re-enter it when the day of the catering came. That's oh, I can't believe we used to do that. Oh my God. That was crazy. But now catering orders come in, first party through our platform, third party through Easy Cater. Everything is just, I mean, I get the alert right on my phone. I can accept it, modifications, whatever. The world has changed. Like, I know it, people. I know it as soon as it happens. Even before we would our first online ordering experience wasn't even built for mobile. We had to go to a mobile, get to a more mobile optimized platform. Now everything, I'm telling you now, and we're looking for POS right now, talking to a couple of different companies about making a POS change. And obviously change with us comes, with a lot of moving parts. We're now 19 locations. So a lot of moving parts when we're talking about changing and they're not all my locations, but because I've been, you know, part of a lot of the processes, a lot of it starts kind of where we are, right? So we'll probably be the test store, and we'll try to work out all the kinks and make sure that it's ready for everybody once it is time to launch and make that change. So it usually happens with us first, not just us, but us and a few other folks like Bob and like Paula, and some of the folks that are other franchisees in this West Shore universe. So I'm excited about that, because the things that we're looking at now, I mean, I'm telling you, we used to have order pad. I started at Little Caesars. My first job was at Little Caesars, and it was an order pad with a register that we would have to like do the X and the Z on. To now we're looking at kiosk and AI phone attendants. Like, a lot has changed in 2 decades in the pizza game, which is great, because those things used to be barriers in for people doing business. Those things used to be things that would hold you back, because if you were a pizza guy, you didn't want to do all that stuff. You weren't going to set up inventory modules and scheduling platforms and doing all, like, everything is just so integrated and so easy now. I mean, we used to write schedules by hand. We used to build them on Excel. We used to do, like, everything is just so easy now. If you embrace the change, it makes it easy if you embrace the technology and embrace the change. So what I'm excited about is what's next for us as we look, for new POS partners, new loyalty, having, getting my eyes open with text. And the text was crazy. I'm telling you. So we just started it, and let me be one to encourage you that if you've been thinking about adding a text platform, like if it's Boostly, or if your loyalty platform offers a SMS option or an MMS option, do that shit, because we did it. We were resistant because it was like, man, I don't know. I don't know if I wanted to spend that money, right? Do it. Do it. It's a game changer, and it's just like it was before, where even with, I said, when we would door hang a street, we knew we get orders from that street. When we were even EDDM to a certain degree, when we would hit these routes, we knew where our orders were going to come from based on where we were marketing. Versus having to do like these big blanket campaigns, we could get targeted down to the street, which is important in a business like mine, which is a mostly delivery business. So do text. Text is like, they get the message, you're on their mind, and you're on your phone. You got your phone. You're gonna check your text. Do that. It was a game changer and an eye opener for us, and I'm excited about how we continue to build on what we've learned so far with text. So yeah, definitely do that. I think that's it. That's all I got. Appreciate just getting back into the studio. Remember, go check out those episodes with our previous guests. Look, come on back, check us out with our future guests. We got a lot of good folks coming up over the next few weeks, so you'll be learning and growing from those folks. Hey, Monday night was dope. I had the franchising 101 discussion. That's going to be our first piece of premium content. So if you're subscribed to Pizza King Podcast Plus, you can you'll have access to the franchise 101 discussion and other soon to be recorded and released premium content. More That's going to be more of the stuff where we dig in and teach, even stuff like this text. Like I'll go in depth on how we set up the text messages, how we build the links, and how we're distributing our list. Like I'll give you an example. Like we segmented our list to engage customers, folks who've ordered within the last 90 days or signed up for rewards within the last 90 days. Ticket average from those sales was about $34. We had 55 redemptions from that. It took a lot of folks off of the list versus our full all records list. But because they were engaged, we got a higher percentage of orders from those folks versus what we did this weekend when we sent out to the full list. So, we can go a little bit deeper and in depth on some of those types of things. And yeah, so I'm just happy to be back. See y'all soon. Tune in for next week's episode. Remember to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, feedback. Go follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. We're also on TikTok, wherever you do your social media. Tap in with me. If you want to be a guest on the show, reach out to me. Send me a message on Instagram. That's the best way, the best place. If you know someone who should be a guest on the show, tell them to send me a message, or you just send me their contact, and I'll reach out to them, and we'll get them on. So appreciate everybody. Have a good week. Pizza King Podcast. Peace.